Page 81, warm up. On page 80, they're introducing you to a whole bunch of sharp signs and a key signature. The only one we've had, I think, so far is G major, and that's the F sharp. It's got one sharp. Well, you have 7 notes total, so you can have up to 7 sharps in a key signature. They can all be sharped. And that's fun to read those. That's where knowing the scale really comes in handy, because then you're not really worrying about what's sharped or not. You're just playing the notes in the scale because you're accustomed to which notes are in the scale. But I want to talk about this just a bit. There is a specific order, and they show it at the top of page 80, that those sharp signs come in a key signature. They're always in this order. So F is always first, and B sharp is always the last one. The flats have an order too. It's a different order than the sharps. However, and they'll get to it eventually, just for kicks and giggles, the order of the flats is opposite the order of the sharps. They're backwards. In other words, if you read these letters going the other way, that would be the order of the flats. So it's like the B, the last sharp, well, that's always the first flat, B flat. And the F, the first sharp, that's always the last flat. F flat is always the last, the 7th flat. So it's interesting that the orders go opposite each other. It's just the way it works out. But you can write in the sharps. They always appear in those places, in those lines and spaces where they're shown. They don't move around in a key signature. They're always there. I don't worry about them too much because I know the scales. And I glance at it, I can see, oh, there's 5 sharps. I just play in the scale of B major because I know that's got flat or G sharp minor, whichever. I know it's got 5 sharps in it. I just play those keys in that key, and I don't worry about all those. Which ones were sharp? I used to do it that way where I thought, oh, which ones are sharp now, which ones? Until I actually learned the scales well. And I found that I just play in that key. I just play the notes in that scale. It's much easier. Now they have a little thing there in the bottom half of page 80 to help you identify what key it's in based on the sharps in the key signature. I prefer if you just learn the scale. But what they're doing is you take the last sharp shown and you take it up a half step, and that's your key. So if it's one sharp, it's an F sharp. I go up a half step, it's a G. It's the key of G major. One sharp is G major. We already know that, I hope. Well, if I take 4 sharps, the 4th sharp is a D. If I go up a half step, that is the key of E major. So 4 sharps is E major. Of course, you got to know the order of the sharps, or you got to have the music there to look at. But that's one way of doing it. I don't use that method myself because I know the scales. I just glance at the key signature. I know which scale has that sharps or flats in it. I just do it. The flats is a different thing. You can't do the flats the same as the sharps. We're talking only sharps here, where the last sharp sign, you go up a half step. That tells you your key signature. So at the bottom of page 80, they get these examples, and they give you G major's the first one's got 1 sharp, and then the next one is 3 sharps. Well, the last sharp is a G, because you have an F, a C, and a G. And a half step above G is an A, so that's the key of A major. The next one is an F and a C. Half a step above C is a D, so that's D major. So the last one is a D sharp. Go a half step up, it's an E, so it's a key of E major. That's 4 sharps. Yeah. On page 81, they give you these warm-ups. Now, they group the keys in here. Other authors have grouped the keys too, and I have never grouped them. I've never grouped them, groups, keys, or anything. I don't understand why one key is in this group and not that group or whatever, but I'm sure those who group the key have that logic, and if I wasn't so lazy, I could go look it up, but I really don't care. To me, I'm just learning the keys, whatever group they're in. But they've got the 2 sharps, 3 sharps, and 4 sharps. That's what we're going to focus on, those keys, and that's what it is. On page 81, the first one is 2 sharps. That's the key of D major. So you simply go do the scale for D major and B minor, because that also has 2 sharps in it. So we'll do them both. And the warm-up is 1, 2, 3, 4. You're just playing the one chord. 1, 2, 2, 3. Okay. All right. The second one is 3 sharps. That's the key of A major. So then you'd go do the scale for A major and F sharp minor, because that also has 3 sharps. Don't do them now. I'm just, when we get to the pieces, you start. 6/8 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. That fun. Okay. Then the last one is 4 sharps. That's key of E major. And it's simple enough. 1, 2, 3. So that would be the scales for E major and C sharp minor, because those are the keys with 4 sharps in them. If you have any questions, let me know. But that's about all I have to say for this stuff.